Hey girls, it's me, I'm back, and I'm going to go ahead and let's get cozy with it here. John is working downstairs on our sink. It cracked, so if you hear he asked me did I want him to stop, and I said no, that you girls would understand. But yesterday I made this video and I just went way too far, which is something that happens with me. So it was a good thing because what I did is I thought about it more and got my thoughts more together. And as I was getting ready for this video, which is how to be more attractive, as I was getting ready for this, I thought, I was just, I'm just talking to you in my mind and all of these things. And I was thinking, no, I can't say that because someone might get offended. Or no, I can't say that because they might think that person's, you know what I mean? It's like I was going through these things and I thought to myself, that is a good one to start out with. Don't be so sensitive. Don't get offended so easily. That is not attractive. That's not attractive. That is, we're going to go through later on, that is a weak signal that you're giving out to other people. And another little intro thing here is this is how to be more attractive. And it's not about Botox. It's not about wearing the right thing. This is far more important. And I think we all know those people that are so good looking, man or woman, or even child. I love children, so I'm not saying it against children, but you know what I'm talking about. There's one of those things. And they're so good looking, but yet their mannerisms, the way they carry themselves, the way they act, the things that they say make them very unattractive. Like you cannot wait to get away from them. This also happens with me with movie stars and some of my favorite people that I watch on TV. I've gotten to the point where I don't want to hear them talk in their real life because there will be something that takes away my fantasy of who I thought they were. And it's not that I don't want people to be authentic, but I think you know what I'm talking about. So how to be more attractive. This one is something I feel strongly about, and that is don't overshare. Don't overshare. I see this happen so much here on YouTube. And honestly, I think it happens even more on Instagram. And that is probably because it's not as thought out on Instagram. It's easy to just post different things about your family, about a stress that you're going through, things like that. I just am of the belief that if it does not help someone in a serious way, now I think a lot of people will say, oh, I'm just going to share this because I know there are others of you out there. Of course there is, but there are all types of professionals out there to help. Anyone that needs help, there is so much out there available for them. And, I share on here different things that I do to help, but I don't share with you all of my family's business. I don't share with you things that don't pertain to you and pertain to what we're talking about here because it's not going to help. And a lot of times I think I'm not going to burden you with those thoughts. I'm not going to complicate your life when it can do no good. That's what I think. And a lot of times I will read comments that are way oversharing. I will watch, even makeup videos or something, and the person will say, oh gosh, sorry I've been gone. I've been having a real meltdown. And they just go into this whole thing. And it's just like, I almost feel like, I don't need to know that. Stop. It almost makes me feel panicky. It's not attractive and it can be harmful to put such information out there. So I'm sorry. This is what I'm going to try not to do is go too far. Don't overshare. Even when you meet someone, say you're at a school function, a work function for you, for your husband, a neighborhood get together. Don't share all the things that you have been dealing with within your family, with your children. Don't do that. You may think that, they'll understand or whatever, but you just never know how it's going to land and who it's going to affect. Number one, don't overshare. Number two, Let them talk about themselves and really listen. This is a thing that I think I've had to really work on. And I've even told friends before, I have a hard time letting them finish. I am bad at interrupting because I get so excited about the conversation. I want to tell them something and I am afraid I'm going to forget it. I'm afraid if I don't interrupt them, I'm going to forget what I had to say. Well, that's not attractive because you're not giving them their space and their time to talk about what they want to talk about and to get the point out. It is much more important and much more attractive to be interested in what they're saying. I know a lot of times, even on my videos, I'll be, talking about something and people are steady typing something that I'm getting ready to say. And I understand that. I do, because I do the same thing. Even with my editor, I will, say something and then further on in the video, he does what I was asking to be done. So I get it. These are all things I've had to work on and I'm still working on. But it's something that I do notice in people everywhere, in all aspects of life, online, on your phone, in life, all of these things. Really listen. And this also extremely goes to our husbands. Listen to what they have to say. When John comes home from golf, he is like a little boy. He wants to tell me all about the day with all of, his friends. And it's so tempting for me to interrupt him. And even with good things like, oh, is that the guy that so-and-so? Let them get it out. It is so important. It really shows them respect and they find it very, very attractive. Okay, number 3, there's nothing more unattractive than neediness. Never beg. Whoa, this goes deep. And I don't know if this really, I think when we get to be our age, it is not as prevalent because we're not in those situations like we are when we're young. This is something I try to teach Brooke. Even with a man, they are not attracted to neediness. Even with our husbands, though you may want them to feel needed, respected, it needs to be in a different way, not neediness, not always begging for their attention, not giving them space. That's not what they need. They need you to have a full life and they want you to need them, but not in a desperate way, if you know what I'm talking about. Not interrupting them all day at work. They need that space. They need to miss you. And then another thing that I thought about here, when I was telling you about don't say I can't afford it, watch your words because your subconscious is hearing these things and you will talk yourself into these things that you repeat over and over again. Well, another thing I was thinking about is not going where you're not wanted. And you know what I thought of? Hermes. And I told you girls I was going to tell you about this. I'm not going in there anymore. And I still stand by my feeling of not wanting them to change their ways. I do still get the mystique of, getting the bags brand new. And I still had a good time that day that I actually was able to buy a bag. And I was so grateful. They told me when I left, if I started this relationship, that I could buy a few things and maybe I would be in with them. And so when I started doing that and I bought the bracelet and the shoes and I don't know if I bought anything else, love the bracelet, the shoes, and it was a different woman. The woman that I had originally spoke with was the manager. Well, this woman, just the way she spoke to me was so condescending. I asked her, could I put my name? Could I make a wish list? Oh, well, you'll have to fly here to pick it up. Okay, I'm aware of that. It was just the way she treated me. I did not like the way it felt at all. I didn't like it. Okay, I think the next time I went out of town, I went in one more Hermes store. And I think it was to buy a pair of the Oran sandals. I have a black pair, but I think I wanted some pink ones. I think it might have been when I went to Miami to visit Mommy's Makeup in Moscato. And the way the guy looked at me when I walked in, you guys, it is like an SNL skit. It is straight off of In Living Color, all those shows. He was on his phone, and the way he looked at me when I walked up, was unbelievable. He did not have the size. He had no interest in me whatsoever. If he had just given me 50% of interest, I could have bought so many things in that store. I could have bought jewelry. I could have bought a bag. I could have bought anything in that store. He had no time for me. And I, at that moment, thought to myself, I am never going to do this again. If I ever want another Birkin or anything else, I will either order it online, because I've ordered a belt and some other stuff online, or I'll buy it pre-loved. That's what I'll do. So that's kind of off the subject, because I just think that needy energy is not good. It's not good for progressing in life, and it's not attractive. Okay, number 4, spread your knowledge in a humble way. Avoid appearing arrogant or superior. So I'm going to give you 2 examples here. One from myself, because I am my biggest case study for sure. I find this hard sometimes when I am shopping, especially out of town, because in town, everyone knows what I do. I know them so well. They're not blowing smoke up my butt telling me about this certain product or anything, because they know I am in their Ulta, Sephora, all of that so much that I'm up on it. But when I go out of town, I will have the makeup artist or the sales lady really, and it's their job. So it's not like I have any disrespect for them. I understand it. Let's see, what am I trying to say here? They will exaggerate. That's it. And I have to hold back from saying, I've tried that. This collection is not brand new. It's been around for like 3 months. You know what I mean? I'll have to hold back because I don't want to come off arrogant. I want to be humble. I'm lucky that I'm in this profession. I'm lucky that I get to buy the things that I do. I'm lucky that I get PR. So I don't want to come off as arrogant. I want to be humble. I want to appreciate their help. It's not attractive. And I found myself feeling that way, like, oh, I didn't feel good about saying that. So that is my own example. And then I have experienced this with people so much. And a lot of these steps and tips that I'm giving to you, of course, they'll make you more attractive online. They'll make you more attractive to your husband, to your friends. But these are skills that will make you more attractive to a group of people that you'd like to be with, like maybe it's a club or a membership. It could even go like to Pilates or any group of people, group of friends. Like I used to go to a lot of pampered chef parties and stuff like that. And you would always come across the woman who was a know-it-all. And I will never forget, oh my gosh, this was a learning moment for me into what I never want to be. When I used to make handbags, and so many people ask me to show you my handbags. I've done that before in a video. I don't know where the photo album is where I used to take pictures of every single bag, but if I ever can find those things, I will show you. But I got invited to a party one time at this girl's house, and she wanted me to bring my bags and sell them there. So I did. And so I was surrounded by women that I did not know. And I was not confident enough in myself that I didn't care what any of them said to me or whatever. And one of the girls looked at me and she said, "Who does your hair?" And I said, I went to a nice salon. I said, Kat at, I can't even remember. I don't even think this place is around. I think it was called Blonde Salon. She said, it was right in the front of my hair and I had noticed it. She said, "You had bleed through. If you'd have come to my salon, that would have never happened to you." And it was so embarrassing. I felt I could have cried. Well, guess what I ended up doing? I ended up going to this girl's salon. And guess what? Worst my hair has ever been. Do you guys remember when my hair was literally bleached white and broke off and was the worst it had ever been? That was her salon. So not only was it so unattractive, like this is that girl's personality too. It's very unattractive. It was very rude. And I just thought it was so, like right now, oh my God, I can't even imagine what my response would be at this point in my life, because I was probably about 31 34 or 5 at that moment. But another example would be groups of girls that I'm in. I'm in many groups because of what I do, many friendship groups. Another thing is there will be that person who will feel pretty superior to the whole group. They'll feel very, very intelligent, and they will correct people, correct pronunciations, correct people. That's one thing I never do. Don't correct people when they're speaking. Like even John, he will have these words that he says he'll say them over and over again that are a little off. And I don't correct him. That's just not important. And it makes someone feel bad or call out something that they said before. It's just not attractive. It's just not. It doesn't put you in a good light. It doesn't make you seem superior because you know how to pronounce something or that you know this person's name. It makes you not part of the group. It's all about social intelligence. This all is about social intelligence. Okay, so I would say this would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5, stick to your word. Actions over words. Stick to your word. That is so attractive. All of these things make you look, seem, and feel more confident. And there is nothing in anyone, even in dogs. A confident dog is going to have a better life than a fearful dog. A confident person is going to have the most rewarding life and be the most attractive. So stick to your word, actions over words. When you say something like I'm going to lose weight, or I'm going to start walking, or you put it out in the atmosphere, you tell others, you don't stick to your word, it makes you look weak. It does not make you look more attractive. It would be better for you to not say that thing. So that's one example. Another example would be your word to help someone, to be there for them. Stick to your word. If you say you're going to be there, you need to be there. If you say you are going to bring the pineapple upside down cake, bring the pineapple upside down cake. Don't make excuses and bring cookies from the local grocery store. And these might seem petty, but they will make you more attractive. It's just the way it is. When I say something, I do it. If I don't, it is because something major happened. I don't make promises that I can't keep, especially to myself. And just a lot of it comes down to just don't talk too much. Just don't tell all your business. Don't feel like you've got to let every thought that goes through your brain come out. Another example of this would be when you're younger and you are forming friendships and relationships, and you feel like making these promises or making these statements will make you more likable, more attractive. You think this will help, and then you either know you can't back it up or you don't have the stick-to-itness to back it up. Just don't say it. Let your actions be your word. It goes right along with not telling all your business. Your actions are very profound. Your silence is very profound. These are things that grab attention. Words, they're very cheap. It's when you have energy or you have something going on inside of you, the strongest thing you can do is not talk about it and not blah out to everyone, not correct someone, not put in your one up, all of these things. The most valuable thing you can do is keep it within yourself, process it, and then take action. So that is very attractive. That's very attractive with women, men, business people, whatever. It's very, very impressive. Okay, so number 6, I believe. 7, 8, 9, 10. Yes. Avoid being a complainer. We all know these people. And I would not say it's toxic people. It can be your best friend. It can be a relative. And a lot of people have legitimate complaints. And I'm not saying never complain because it's life. We all have some things that we could complain about and they're legitimate, but don't get known to be the complainer. Someone who 9 times out of 10, if you open that email or you read that comment or you see them walking in the neighborhood, they are going to hit you with a complaint. This is also something I have had to work on. I almost would use a complaint as a common thing to talk about, like with neighbors. Like you see a neighbor at the pool, first thing you want to complain about is, can you believe they never replaced the umbrellas this summer? This is a true thing that I did a couple of weeks ago at the pool. And I was like, I just wanted to get the words back in my mouth. That didn't do any good to complain. I don't want to commiserate. I don't want to come here on YouTube and complain about hot flashes or different things. I mean, it kind of goes in line with not telling all your business. You guys know, like even when my sweetest baby ever in the world, Bridget, passed away, I didn't come right on here and tell you all about it. Or I don't like spreading negativity. I don't want to complain. I think it's very unattractive to be the person that's always complaining, especially if it's something that either you can't do anything about, and then you daggone sure don't want to complain about something you could be doing something about. That is very unattractive. And you become an energy sucker, not an energy giver. And if you want to be attractive, you want to be an energy giver. You want to make someone feel better than they did before they even talked to you. You want to, if you're going to speak and you're going to say something, let it be of value. Let it be something that enhances their life. That is what I'm saying. Usually complaining it's worthless. It really is. Okay, so 7, fill your cup before filling others. I was surprised to even see this. This all came from a list that I saw on Pinterest, and there were many more that I went over all of them yesterday, but some of them were redundant and some of them I didn't feel like they didn't pertain to us as much. But I really feel strongly about this one. I think if you've been here with me for 15 years, you know, I believe in, as a mom, as a wife, as a woman of your community, as a woman of your church, fill your cup and give from the overflow. This is a main characteristic of feminine energy that we as women, as feminine women, feminine energy women, we have to feel full to give and nurture to others. And I think a lot of women feel guilty. They feel like they need to put everyone in their family first. And that is not the way it should be, because if you do that, like you all know these people, we've all been this person. If we get so used to doing for others and we never do for ourselves, for one thing, we get burnt out and we can get bitter. And I don't know about you, but I can tell in the tone of someone's voice if they're burnt out. I did a bunch of mommies and me groups and things like that as a stay-at-home mom. You can look at the mom and tell the ones that are burnt out. And it's not always about how they're dressed. It is even in their facial expression. It's in what they talk about. And it's in their mannerisms when they're talking to their children. You've all, I'm sure, heard the teacher or the mom in Target that you can tell they have had it. Something is going on and they've had it. They've been pushed to the edge. Their cup is running on E and they're getting it done, but it's not attractive. It's not what it should be. And I just really feel strongly that part of being a good mom, a good wife, a good friend is filling your cup first and then giving from the overflow. It's a win-win. It just is. And it will make you so beautiful. It will make you so soft and giving, and like a light will come from you. It will definitely make you an energy giver when you give from a full cup. And I think that's especially important for us as women. Okay, 8, see something positive in every situation. This could go along with not complaining or not looking to be offended, but this I use on a daily basis. And there are some situations that I and we have all been through that you just can't put a positive spin on it. You just can't. It is something tragic. It is something that should happen to no one. But have you ever talked to that person? I have a particular friend in mind who lost her daughter at age It's hard to even talk about. I know she was over 10 and she had struggled with a real specific type of cancer. It was gone. It came back and she passed away. And I remember hearing it and just crying. And I was so afraid when I saw her again. What was I going to say? What was I going to what words could I even express to this friend of mine that I've known since high school there was nothing I could say. So she kept on working and I ended up running into her in the mall and I was speechless. I hugged her and she had this life in her that was so beautiful. I'm going to try not to cry. And I really feel like God was in her. And I told her, I said, at the end of our conversation, she made me feel comfortable. Her whole demeanor was to make me feel comfortable, not to, I don't know. I mean, she deserved to be the victim. She deserved to be complaining. She deserved to be everything. Yet I could tell she was making me feel better. And I told her, I said, I'm so thankful that you're not like, she had talked about going to church. And I said, I'm so thankful that you're not, you don't feel bitter with God or anything. And she said, why? Why? God doesn't promise us to not experience tragedies in life. And I'm going to quit talking about it because I don't want to tell too much of someone's business, even though you don't know who it is. But it's just, wow, that was such a moment for me. It was such a teaching moment. And there have been many things in people's lives that, just are tragedies, but they somehow will find something positive to say. Matter of fact, I just went out to eat with her and another friend a couple of months ago. They're the ones that told me about watching The Chosen. She's the one that told me I would enjoy watching that. And she is just a bright light to be around. She will enhance your life, even though she has been through such a tragedy in her life. And she found the good in that situation and got connected with her church. And, even on let's just take it down to a small scale. I won't give you an example from my life because I feel like that's where I can share from best. Yesterday, I set off every day with a daily win. Well, yesterday, one of my wins was going to be doing this video, and it didn't work out. But you know what else I did that was the biggest win? I went and spent time with my parents yesterday, and we had great conversation. We had a great visit. Another win yesterday, this is going to be so silly, but you'll know what I mean. While I'm on my carnivore diet that has been life-changing, sometimes I crave pizza. And I don't want to eat the top of a whole pizza, but I crave pizza. And I had been craving pizza for a couple of days. And so I got home from my parents. John and Will had been to the gym and they hadn't gone to eat lunch yet. They had come home to change clothes and they were going to Sheetz, which is kind of like Wawa, but it's a brand new one here in our area and they have good food. And I had never eaten there and they order online and go pick it up. And so I said, well, I still want my steaks tonight. John was going to cook early for me because I just skipped lunch. Sometimes it gets to be so late, I just skip lunch and I'll just eat dinner like an hour early. And I said, well, you see if they have a pizza. I want to try it. And he said, yeah, they do. They have a French bread pizza. And oh my gosh, you guys, it was so good. It was a little perfect size. John said it was inexpensive. It was a little individual French bread pizza. And they made it in this way where they put barely any sauce on it. The pepperonis were like this big and very, very thin with the cheese on top. So what could I do? Especially because the cheese had kind of gotten, congealed? It had kind of hardened a little bit. So I could take that piece of pepperoni and it barely had any sauce on it. And the cheese was on top and I could eat it. Matter of fact, John at first thought I was eating a piece of pizza. He said, are you eating the whole piece? I said, no. I said, taste this. Perfection. So I would say I ate 3/4 of it, 2 pieces of it. When you eat something and it's so good, you have to have the other person eat it with you. That's what I was doing. So we kind of split it and then Will had gotten one. And so last night I took a shower, curled my hair, I did my weights, and I read my devotional at night. I know it's kind of meant to read in the morning, but I really appreciate reading my devotional at night. It just kind of puts me back in that grateful spirit. And so I read my devotional, get in my bed, and I'm just thinking, wow, today was a good day. I had good pizza. I saw my parents. I took a shower. I curled my hair, like all these things. And even though I could have been bent about my video not turning out, and I'm going to have to do it again tomorrow, I looked for the good in the day. And I do that every day. And there is something good in every day. And that makes you attractive when you're that person, because happy people, confident people, people that believe in themselves, people that give themselves good energy, that fill their cup, they're fun to be around. They are going places and they're fun to be around. Okay, that's going into another one. Okay, number 9, be careful about who you allow in your inner circle. We all know this. What is it? You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This is something I've had to process in a few ways, because there are some different ways to look at this. First of all, my inner circle will always be my family. So let's go with my mom, my dad, my brother, his family, and my family. That's my inner circle. They're most important. They're number 1. So they're not going away, and I'm going to do everything I can to give them the best of me. So then there's your inner circle of friends, people you talk to on a regular basis. Okay, we know friends for a reason, friends for a season, friends for a lifetime. So a lot of times these friends, even within the group of people, can be, think about Sex and the City. They were so diverse. Carrie, think about Charlotte, Samantha. So you each bring your own flavor to that group, but there needs to be an underlying support system. There needs to be an appreciation for each of your flavors. There needs to be some equal energy giving, and there needs to be some equal energy taking in a good way, appreciating the energy of others. So that is a circle you need to be careful about, because one person can infect the group. And just that one person can sometimes just curate your group. That's what I would say. Curate your group to fill your cup. Okay, then you will, if you're in business or if you're at work, there's going to be your work, your business, maybe even your exercise group. In that group, I find that you can be more tolerant. You can choose to ignore some people. You can choose to, have your energetic boundaries. That's very, very attractive and important. And don't let them infect you so that you ruin your other groups. Does that make sense? I think a lot of people say this because, and here again, it's very age appropriate or determined by age or the stage you are into your life. Like I talk to Brooke about this all the time. And I was very guilty of, in my 20s, being in groups I should not have been in. But I was thinking, I'm not doing it. And then I was very guilty of, they could be doing, these terrible things, but I would see the good qualities in them and I would just focus on those good qualities. No one's all bad. I'm sure Jeffrey Dahmer had some good qualities. But you can't ignore the toxic and the destructive qualities and only look at the good qualities. But I think we learn this as we age. Unfortunately, there's some things you just have to live through and experience. And I really do try so hard to not lecture Brooke, because that's not what you want to do. I share with her. And I don't expect an answer from her. It's not a one-on-one deep conversation. It's just things that I put out there, and she can think about it later and think about it. She'll bring up things that I told her a year ago that she's been thinking of. Okay, number 10, treat yourself like a priority to be treated like a priority. Hey, Chanel, you want to come up here? So treat yourself like a priority to be treated like a priority. Now, how does this make you attractive? I think that we know mostly that if we're someone who has destructive behavior, who complains, all these things that we're talking about, that's not going to be attractive. Okay, for example, how you dress, your hygiene, the way you carry yourself, the words you speak. If you present yourself in a way that looks like you don't have respect for yourself, you don't spend time on your hygiene, you don't care about what you're wearing if they're dirty or whatever, you may think these things are unfair and it shouldn't matter, but it does. I think only 7% of our communication is verbal. There's so much in facial expressions, eye contact, all of these things. And it's very visible to a person how you feel about yourself. And it's important. It will make you more attractive. And I say this all the time. Think about people that they don't have the status quo features that would make someone attractive. But yet when you get to know them, they are so sexy. They are so good looking. They just have it going on. And it's because of how they carry themselves. It's not about their weight. It's not about anything. Somebody coming right to the top of my head is, she made her comeback in The White Lotus. What is her name? She got popular on all of the comedies. I think she's in Legally Blonde. To me, that is one sexy woman. Now, she does cuss and everything, but beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You know, we all find different things attractive, but I love her just the way she carries herself. And so that's just very important. What else was I going to say about this? Treat yourself. Okay, in your relationships, especially with your husband, if he feels like you are letting yourself go and you are not the woman that he married and you are not treating yourself like a priority, he might not even know it. But it's just human nature that when you're with someone who doesn't respect themselves, who is letting themselves go, to not hold that respect for them. And I hate to say not make a priority, but okay, for instance, I don't know. I don't want to go too far, but just take it from me. Let yourself look like you have made yourself a priority, and they will look at you like, wow, she must be someone important, you know? Like, I love it. You guys know this. I love to see older couples dressed. One of my, I'm a people watcher, and I remember when I went for that Saks collab to DC, and I went with Ariel, and we were sitting there eating. I think I was eating either a McDonald's patties or the inside of a steak and cheese, but we spotted this couple. It was an Asian couple dressed to the T, carrying themselves with respect. They were some of the best looking people we saw in the mall, because I love looking at outfits. It doesn't matter how old they are. I love it. And I was like, wow. But they carried themselves like they were a priority, and they stood out and they were attractive. I love it. I love to just, when something grabs my attention, I will say, why? Why did that grab my attention? Why do I think that's so beautiful? Why is that person so sexy? I'm trying to think, who's a guy that's not really sexy, but the way they carry themselves? Leave me some people below, either women or men, that are known as so sexy, so good looking, but they don't fit the societal norms of that. Leave me that below. So, okay, like Nene, she's so sexy. She's so beautiful. And she's very confident. And she's not needy. Let's see how she wants to be with me, but she's not up in my face. She's got that pride. Okay, girls. For accessories, I have on these earrings are winners. I mean, some days I don't feel like putting on a big earring, and these are the cheapies. They are inspired by Bottega Veneta. My name necklace that I have really enjoyed. My Chanel Coco Crush diamond ring. And this was my grandmother's wedding ring. She is my dad's mom. She is the one that we used to stay with at the beach every summer. And then, of course, she had another house in town that we would stay in the winter. And this was her ring. And her original diamond was one of these side diamonds. And then she had this. And I remember when I would sit on her lap, just marveling at this ring, and she told me she would give it to me one day. And she did. So that's that. And I will put my makeup, and I've got a new lotion on from Hemp's that I think is really nice and pretty. I will leave all of that stuff down below, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.